You're watching a special edition of Agenda. On the day the NDA government has just announced its own presidential candidate. And the candidate that's been announced, of course, is 71-year-old governor of Bihar, Ram Nath Kovind. Now, Ram Nath Kovind is being called really a hidden secret of the NDA because he fills in a lot of criteria that people were talking about. One of the things that they say is very, very crucial about him is that he comes from Kanpur Dehat, and even though he's now reached a high office of that being the governor of Bihar, he comes from a very modest background. He is from a Dalit poor family of farmers in Uttar Pradesh, and that's why the BJP feels that it is sending out a very strong signal which other parties, even opposition parties, will find very, very hard to oppose. In fact, already we've had one key opposition leader, that is Nitish Kumar, saying that he was very pleased and that Ram Nath Kovind had done a great job as the governor of Bihar. But speaking about the entire presidential election process and to give us insight on what this entire thing is all about, to demystify it for us, we have a very special guest and interview. Joining us now, the first woman president of India, former President Pratibha Patil. Pratibha Patil ji, thank you so much for joining us from Pune and speaking to us here. We are very, very pleased that you're taking us through it all. Are you watching this entire election process to the post that you once held?
Yes, I am reading the newspaper and I come to know about it through the newspapers.
And what do you think, ma'am? I have to ask you, ma'am, that today the name has been announced and, we're getting very interesting reactions, but we are all curious to know, ma'am, as someone who held that high office, what do you think of Ram Nath Kovind? Do you know him personally?
No, I don't know him personally, and therefore I don't have any personal knowledge about him. But it seems that he is quite an educated person, and he is he has a legal profession and experience in varied fields. He has been member of Rajya Sabha twice, and he is also at present governor of Bihar.
That's
so
right.
These are quite good enough qualifications. Yeah.
Well, what's interesting, ma'am, actually, is that you know how much you must have, as someone who also came up in the political process, who'd had a long political career. What was interesting was reporters and political commentators are always watching and saying, okay, this person is likely, that person is likely, and it's always a surprise. Many times it's a surprise. You were also a surprise candidate that way, ma'am. Just like Ram Nath Kovind, not many people knew. Wouldn't you say that that is quite similar to you, that you were also a surprise candidate?
I was expecting the lead candidate and a consensus candidate, and therefore I was surprised when it was declared one-sided. I would have been happy if there was a Dalit candidate and of a consensus candidate, so that the election would have been very smooth. And after all, the president is the head of the state and the first citizen of the country, and if it is appropriately he is elected very smoothly, I think that would have been a very good gesture.
Very interesting, ma'am, because he is what they are all pointing out. In fact, we heard BSP leaders, Mayawati's reaction just a short while ago. And while they are saying that, yes, because Ram Nath Kovind comes from a Dalit background, it is sending out this signal. But I just wanted you to emphasize, how do you mean a consensus candidate? You don't think that Ram Nath Kovind will come out as a consensus candidate?
I can't say about it because I don't know what the leaders of the opposition parties are thinking about it. Maybe they are pondering over it and I don't know actually what they are doing about it.
You know, ma'am, one of the things that, and you perhaps represent that, you were someone who became the first woman to hold such a high office. What do you think? I know that you talked a little bit about the fact that, you know, you were expecting a Dalit candidate. Many people, in fact, also pointing out that the fact that he is from a farmer's family also sends out a kind of signal to the farming crisis that is there now. So many farmers have committed suicide. We just saw a lot of agitation in the farming community from Maharashtra, which is your state, ma'am, to also Madhya Pradesh. But, you know, is it important in that respect to have
Maharashtra.
That's right, ma'am, to have someone who represents or sends that kind of social signal?
Just to be a farmer is a quite good thing, and nowadays there are problems of the farmers which are being highly discussed in our country. There is a lot of unrest in the farming community, and as such to have a farmer's background is of course very good. But if taken all these things together, if it was a consensus candidate, that would have been still better.
That would have been quite rare also, ma'am, isn't it? Because we've only had, there have been 13 presidents till now, but only one president has been a consensus candidate. I just wanted to say that there are a lot of students
because
also.
There was, yes, but because there.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
No, because there was a talk of having a consensus candidate, and the opposition parties were coming together for their compromise candidate, but they had suggested that it should come from the government, they should take the lead, and there could be a consensus candidate, and therefore a committee of 3 ministers was appointed who were going about and discussing along with the other opposition leaders, and I was quite expecting that such a consensus candidate would come, and that would have been a very, yeah.
Who in your opinion would have made an excellent consensus candidate, ma'am?
No, I can't say that.
No,
I shouldn't speak about it.
There must be someone in mind, ma'am.
No, I would not comment on it.
Okay, ma'am. You know, all of us are give us some insider perspective, ma'am. When you were chosen, just so that we can get an idea of what Ram Nath Kovind is also going through. What happens between now and the election that takes place? How does one prepare to become the President of India? Can you tell us what is perhaps some of the procedures, some of the processes that must have kicked off for Ram Nath Kovind, which you experienced in 2007 when suddenly out of the blue you were in Rajasthan and you got a call as well from Sonia Gandhi. Today the Prime Minister would have made that call to Ram Nath Kovind. So what is the process that starts off? Take us through some of that behind the scenes, ma'am.
Yes, it was a quite surprise for me when I was given a call by Mrs. Sonia Gandhi. I don't know whether it is surprise for Mr. Ram Nath Kovind, but you see, when I was declared as the candidate, I went around each state and I used to hold meetings with the MPs and MLAs of each state and discuss with them, take their opinion also. And that took me a long time to reach each and every state.
And is there some advantage of being unknown?
I was giving my opinion about different things.
Because like you, he is also very unknown.
I don't think there is any advantage or disadvantage.
Okay, ma'am. There are lots of students who want to ask you questions.
I don't think there is any disadvantage about that.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah. Who wants to go? Who wants to go first? Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Ma'am, do you feel that the common citizen should have a direct say in choosing the topmost constitutional position, or do you feel that indirect elections are the way forward?
For a country like India, where we have such a big population and very sort of a big area also to reach out. Directly electing a president would be a very difficult proposition. So whatever is the present system, I think that is quite good enough.
Okay, what's the next question? Yeah, go ahead.
How was your experience when you became a first woman president of India?
Ma'am, being the first woman president of India, what was that like?
You see, I was really taken aback when I heard about it, and when I came to Delhi to fill my form, I was not knowing what is going to happen, but then I was very much prepared inside to face whatever comes round. I was meeting the people from different quarters. There was a lot of rush of people meeting me, and particularly women from all over the country. They would come, they would like to see a woman who is going to be a president, and there was a lot of questions also from different quarters, how just now you are asking me. So, but I was feeling quite confident because I had worked in my public life for about 50 years, and I was quite confident that I will be able to shoulder the responsibility. And I was already working as the governor, so I had got some experience also.